Shauna here from Dancing Raven Studio. Welcome to Acrylic Painting 101 Basics for Beginners. I'm so glad you've stuck it through. This is lesson 13. And in this lesson we're going to do some color matching. We're going to use that color wheel that we created earlier, as well as the value scale that we created in lesson 8, and we'll still be using paints from lesson 8. Grab some paint chips and let's get going. So here's our color wheel that we did in lesson 6, and here's our value scale that we did in lesson 8. And here are a whole range of color chips. I have to say, it's quite fun to go to the paint store and just pick out colors that were lower chroma. I was looking for colors that were more complex for our mixing and our matching exercise that we are doing right now. Here we have our color wheel and all of these chips, and we're going to start to use this color wheel to help us figure out where we're at. Here we have Spring Daffodil. Now Spring Daffodil is definitely a yellow. Is it a cad yellow light? It doesn't seem to be. It feels to me like it's a little bit more towards the orange, so maybe it's a cad yellow medium. But we'll see in a second if that's for sure. Here is definitely a cad yellow light. It definitely is a lower chroma cad yellow light, and I think if you add that neutral gray in, you're going to get there almost immediately. And I can see the warmer tone that is, more towards the red on the Spring Daffodil. So I would say that for sure is cad yellow medium as the starting place. Our next color is called Liliana, wherever they got these names from. So I'm seeing it as a green yellow, bringing the chroma down. I think it's more of a green yellow, and so it will have a hint of that green, but a lot of yellow in the color. Peaceful Garden. This is definitely a yellow-green. It's not a blue color. I'm not seeing that. And I'm seeing more in that line, but very light value and very low chroma. Let's get into the purples here. We have Wild Mulberry AF-6225. That's an exciting name. And Kept Love Letters. Whoever names these, I'd love to have a glass of wine with these people. I'm looking at the purples. Are they a red purple? Are they a blue purple? Immediately, I can see that the AF one is more towards a red purple. And the Kept Love Letters feels like it's towards a red purple too. And this Wild Mulberry, which is really, you can see that blue in there. Like you can really see it's very low chroma, so it doesn't have a lot of color in it, but it's such a lovely color. Yeah, I'm seeing it towards the blue. Yeah, that definitely is a blue purple. Now, Deep Secret. Love this name. Because it's so low chroma, it looks almost green on this screen, but it was more towards that purple blue. Now we are on to Silken Blue, which I see is more towards that green blue. And this one's more of a purpley blue, like it's more of a ultramarine blue versus a cerulean blue. That's more towards the cerulean blue, which is heading towards the yellow. Let's look at some greens. We have Dancing Leaves, Secret Path, and Perfectly Pesto. As you put them right against each other, you can see their tendencies. Dancing Leaves is towards the blue, the Secret Path is towards more of just the plain green, and then we're into the yellow-green with this Perfectly Pesto. So now we have warm sun glow, pink flamingo. And you can see warm sun glow is definitely towards the yellows. It's very noticeable that it is more of an low chroma orange. And then we have our pink flamingo, which is towards a red. Certainly the cherry burst is towards the alizarin. And the Persian red is kind of between cad red light and cad red medium, but because it's such a low value and low chroma, it's kind of hard to read and to know that. But that's where I'm placing it. And looked in my color mixtures. When you do your color mixtures and you do all your charts, then you can go back and you can find these colors, especially in the chroma charts. So the two colors that we're going to work with are Kept Love Letters and Perfectly Pesto. So I'm going to set it up here. We're going to bring in a sheet here that I glued a little piece of it on. The first thing I need to do is figure out values. We forgot to do values on these other colors. What value am I seeing? In the Perfectly Pesto, definitely a value 5. I'm going to write that down. And it's a green yellow that I'm writing down. Let's do some value on some of the other chips. This is called Parisian Red, and I'm going to say it's a value 2.5. It was between 3 and 2. And then the Spring Daffodil is a value 9. Kept Love Letters is a value 8. And I'm seeing it sort of in between the two reds, the Cad Red Medium and the Alizarin Crimson, sort of a red purple. Now I'm going to just rearrange everything so that we can get all set up to start mixing. And when I'm doing these color mixtures, I want to come at it in two different ways. We're going to use complementary and a regular way where we mix the colors and then bring in the neutral gray. So we have Perfectly Pesto, and we're going to start there. Now that looks very green, but I have a sneaking suspicion that I can start with a Cad Yellow Light. The colors that I'm going to use for this are Cad Yellow Light, Permanent Green Light, Raw Umber to lower the value of the Cad Yellow Light, value 5 Neutral Gray, and Dioxazine Purple. So here I am adding the raw umber. This is the traditional way that I would work, adding the raw umber to lower the value of the Cad Yellow Light. And I just keep testing it against it until I get to where I feel like it's value 5 and add some more. It's a process. We don't want to take too much because it's hard to go backwards with yellow. And I think that's a value 5. I'm happy with that. I test it out and it seems a little dark actually, so let's take some of that yellow and lighten it up a little bit. And there, I think I'm happier with that. What I'm going to do is take some yellow now, and I'm going to now take that and use the Dioxazine Purple to bring the value down. You can see I did too much, so then I had to sort of remove some of the paint and just bring in some more yellow. I just put way too much purple. That's a very intense dark color, and yellows are very easy to be overpowered by other colors. Now I have both of them at value 5, and you can see the one with the purple seems a bit more red in it. Be interesting to see if we can get it to where we want it to be. It's always good to put your little color swatches next to it so that you can write cad yellow light on it and dioxazine purple, cad yellow light, raw umber, and the neutral gray. Now I'm going to take those mixtures and put a little bit of those mixtures right next to those two colors so I can see what they create when I get it down to the value 5. And this is really helpful when you're mixing colors, to be able to see where you started and see what you got. I'm taking a little bit of the one with the raw umber to darken it down, and I'm just adding the neutral gray, which really is interesting. I've just tested it and looked at it to see if it's close to that. And look at how green that is looking now, and it's a perfect match. Well, maybe it needs a little bit more chroma to be brought down. And there we go. Very happy with that. So we didn't use the green. You notice that? The green never got in there. That once I started adding the raw umber, I saw that it was changing and coming closer to where I wanted it to be. So again, I'm lowering the chroma. I used two very chromatic colors to mix a color, and yes, it lowered the chroma, but not enough. And that's with the cad yellow light and dioxazine purple. And now I'm adding more of that neutral gray, and I see I still need to add a little bit more. So there is no right way to mix colors. There's all sorts of different ways to get the color you're looking for. I'm going to put some of that neutral gray value 5. By mixing colors to the value, it makes it so much easier to manage putting them together. So close that off, we're done. We're going to go on to this kept secret. So here is cad red medium, alizarin crimson, permanent green light, and white, and the neutral gray of value 8. I want to bring this up to a value 8. The cad red medium is a value 4, so I want to bring it up 4 stops to get it to a value 8. I'm just going to add white to do that. Again, we're going to do a mixture of both alizarin and the cad red medium paint with the neutral gray. And then we're going to do the complementary with the green as the way to bring the chroma down a bit. Alizarin crimson is like a value 1. A little goes a long way. You'll need a lot of white to get it to a value 8, but I need a big enough puddle to work with. You can see the difference, eh? You can see one is definitely more blue and the cad red medium is definitely more yellow. You can see the yellow in it as they sit next to each other as we bring it down to the value 8. More white, and bring that down a little bit more. I keep testing and it just keeps taking the time that it takes. And more. A lot more this time. There, I think we're getting closer. And a little bit more. I cleaned off my palette knife between. You don't see that because I've edited that out, but I did clean up my palette knife between. And I can see that they're matching values. Now I'm going to bring this up to evaluate, this green, because it's a value 5. And get that to evaluate. Take some of that green away so that I can just not use up all the white that I have there. And there, I'm happy with that. Now we have the 3. We're going to take 50-50 of the alizarin crimson and the cad red medium. Put that on there so that we remember what we're doing. So here's the mixture of the two. I'm going to bring in some of that neutral gray and bring down that chroma just step by step until I'm happy with the color that I'm seeing. And first one, it's right there. It's perfect. I'm very happy with that. Yes. That was easy. We went from cad red medium to alizarin crimson and put them together 50-50, added some of the neutral gray, and got to the chroma that we want. Now I've taken cad red medium and the very blue-green of the permanent green light. And what you'll see is it's still chromatic, and I think I'm going to have to add some gray. But we're going to start with putting our colors in so that we can see what the mixture looks like together, the two of them. Enough paint there. I really felt like it still couldn't lower the chroma, and if I added more green, it was just going to change the color, not change the chroma in a way that I needed it to. So by bringing in that neutral gray value 8, I went too far, and now I'll put a little bit more of the cad red medium and the permanent green light. And here we are. We've gotten there. Every color has many ways to get there. When you do your color charts, that's what you discover. So we have cad red medium and alizarin crimson, lighten to the value 5, mix together, and add that neutral gray. And then on this side, we have the complementary of cad red medium and that very blue-green, that permanent green light. And then I added the neutral gray to lower the chroma further. So there we are. We've done it. I hope you have fun exploring. To receive the handout for each of the lessons, head on over to my website, dancingravenstudio.ca. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next art video.